Now what will it be? Death or exile?
All right, we're gonna start with the...
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to.
Should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Worst part of it is they're gonna blame us for the whole thing. And they can't have people knowing the truth. We're the excommunicated. The cover-up. Don't forget, we're the Exiles.
Very well. Death by exile.
Welcome to another installment of the Film Exiles podcast. Tonight, myself and my guests will review Upgrade. So I'm reviewing the film with Worst.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, your not so favorite is back at Worst Hero 07 Twitter.
According to everybody, there's somebody even least favorite than you.
Maybe.
Apparently somebody's got you beat. I also got Sal with me tonight. Sal, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
All right, how you been?
Doing pretty good.
All right, so tonight we will be talking about Upgrade. Let me start with a quick synopsis. Set in the near future, technology controls nearly all aspects of life. But when Gray, a self-identified technophobe, has his world turned upside down, his only hope for revenge is in an experimental computer chip implant called STEM. The film is written and directed by Leigh Whannel. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep, you did.
Yep.
Yeah, and it stars Logan Marshall Green and Melanie Vallejo. Real quick bio on Leigh Whannel. He's actually from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually very close to Aquaman director James Wan. They met in their second year of college at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology.
Nice.
He started out on a Saturday morning TV show aimed at teens called Recovery. It was filmed completely live and hosted by actual teenagers. This show became incredibly popular, and he had the luck of interviewing people like Tim Burton, Peter Jackson, Russell Crowe, George Clooney, and he eventually became the host of the show. But all of this time, him and James Wan have been talking about wanting to make movies together. And he tried to become an actor. He pops up in movies like The Matrix Reloaded. But it wasn't until 2002 that he finally called James Wan and decided, if we're gonna make movies, we have to pay for it ourselves. And together, they came up with Saw, which was released in 2004. And Lee actually also wrote Saw. So he's been working very closely with James Wan during this entire time. I'm personally not a big fan of horror movies, so haven't really seen the Saw movies.
Wow.
So what do
You
guys...
never seen the first one?
Nah, I've never seen the first one.
Dude.
Whoa.
Dude.
Yeah, you getting exiled.
Yeah.
So this is worse than my Denzel take?
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah. I'll say second.
All right. So you guys, I'm guessing, have been fans of Wan and his horror movies. Well, what sense have you guys gotten from Whannel over this time?
Damn straight. Oh man. Well, just the grittiness, man, from the horror films. You know, as most of us know who have seen the film or at least heard about it, the Upgrade film. It's not a horror film, but it's like this very wild thriller, you know, and it got some really, really crazy nuts stuff in there, man, that it just make your skin crawl. I don't know, I guess for weirdos, I guess you could say in a kind of good way, right? But yeah, man, he's just, you know, I guess now he's built his style, you know, because the thing is with him, he never really directed before, right? You know, he just mainly produced films and stuff like that. So I'll tell you one thing, you know, as Juan started from the beginning, they both had this thing that like their first kind of low budget films, it's just something great about them. You know what I mean? So I guess like they put their heart and soul into them, man, as if like if it's their first, which it is, by the way. So.
All right, Sal, you have anything to add?
No, I completely agree. I think that Whannell is really starting to, make a name for himself out here, especially with the movie we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just real, like War said, it's just real wild.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start talking about Upgrade. Why don't we?
Sure.
Why don't you guys share with us your opening thoughts? Worse, go for it.
Yeah, I'm always getting picked on, but anyway. Yeah, man. Just this this great action sci-fi thriller, man. I've actually seen it twice by now. Such a great movie, man. Same feeling on both times I've seen it. It's a crime that this movie didn't make more money, although my partners just kind of went through that. The marketing wasn't great, and the movie barely being in theaters. But anyway, man, it's a great film, man, about this dude. Well, matter of fact, first of all, we know, as Manu mentioned, that it's Logan Marshall Green has great traits, and it takes place in what looks like a distant future, dominated by artificial intelligence, presenting like a real world, kind of like in a technology type of way, as we see it like evolves and take over. So, a bunch of buildings and everything that looks very techy, and moving cars and drones that follow you around. If I'm not mistaken, they're actually part of the police department or whatever the case may be. So it's pretty cool and kind of scary at the same time when you think about the future possibly being that way, man. But going to our protagonist, Gray, who kind of plays this old school type character who's not really fond of this whole new technology type world, and opposite of him, which is his wife, who seemed not only to embrace it, but she works for like a big AI type corporation. Gray is a very grounded guy. Most of us who've seen the film know that he's a mechanic. Very old school with it. We see him working on like classic cars and just using old school printed paper money, which is what we currently use right now in our world. And in the beginning, talks about his distaste for technology and feeling that that computers are not perfect, and just the human way, just it being better, and then from there it goes on to from there it goes on to an accident, from what it looks like an accident that he has with his wife. The technology starts to kind of like malfunction, and I don't know, maybe it was like taken over by some people, and then they ended up getting robbed, and his wife gets killed, and he gets shot also in the process, and gets turned into a paraplegic. And that's when the movie turns kind of crazy. He's this paraplegic, and he's like, oh, what's gonna happen? And this guy that he used to work for, which is kind of like a kid called Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, kind of offers him to get his life back through a chip that he made called STEM. And so at first, again, Gray is reluctant and all this type of stuff, but then he ultimately takes it, and it works right away. Iran tells him that he can get his way of life back, he can start moving and things like that. And this is when things kind of take a turn for the best, I would say, in the film, once he realizes that the whole thing can talk, and he wants to start helping him out with the investigation that can see like who killed his wife and things like that. Gray actually starts to embrace this technology, and from there, man, it just really, the movie really goes from 50 to like 1,000. That's when like the action kind of starts. It's crazy because I was on Twitter recently, and it seems like everyone has like the same exact reaction. And I'm not gonna go into a specific scene on how it is or whatever, 'cause I don't want to spoil it too much for people. But it goes into this, just like the first action scene, man, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? And the STEM, the technology inside him just takes over, and it just really, really goes crazy, man. So such a dope flick, man. It's hard to explain. Because it's very gritty, and very action packed. The music is great. You know, and the ending is just it's just blown away, man. And you know, it takes you back to the beginning when it shows that, you know, one of the reasons why Gray might be, you know, afraid of this technology and why he's not really with it and things like that. And you know, the end kind of explain things more and brings you back to why some humans may feel, you know, a distaste for technology as well. You know, possibly being afraid that, you know, it could take over you. You know what I'm saying? One day, you know, humans, you know, we won't be needed anymore. So I mean, that's just really all I have to say. So I don't want to go into crazy spoilers, whatever. I want to leave something out for some people out there to go and check out the film or whatever. So
Definitely. Sal, what about you? What did you think about Upgrade?
Oh man, I love this movie so much. I knew I was gonna like it, but then when I watched it for the first time a couple days ago, I was just in the first 10 minutes I was just like, oh my god, this movie is amazing. It's just so how much information it gives to you, because like we're said, like it's like real, it's like probably like 20 minutes in the movie or something when you get that first action scene, and so it delivers to you all this like emotional and like expository information in such a short amount of time, but you're in it. And I really like these kinds of movies, you know, obviously commenting on the man versus machine, but in like a new way. And I like you know, one man movies. Like when I bought the Blu-ray for this, I also bought Taxi Driver because I was in that kind of mood. I wanted to watch another one-man movie or like stuff like Nightcrawler. But yeah, this is a very, like Ware said, it's a very gritty film. It's not like dreary or dour. It's actually really fun. In like
it's a very entertaining film.
Yeah, I feel like the commentary is it's very thoughtful and not too deep. Like you can really like absorb it all in that first viewing, but you can still get some more layers as you watch the movie over and over. Because I've seen it about 3 or 4 times now.
Wow.
But yeah, and I don't know how much more deeper I can go either, because I just don't want to spoil it too much, because I feel like it's something really special.
Yeah, you definitely got to leave some for people who want to watch it, man. Because there's just so much in there, man, to embrace. So.
Yeah.
I wanted to add also, because Worst was talking about how it's the future, but I also like how grounded it is and how realistic. Like there's still old beaten up warehouses, or there's still homeless people like out in tents in the like where they get beat up. They're being watched by a bunch of homeless people. And like,
that's true.
It still has
even when they go to the bar area or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, it still has this very like street level groundedness to it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, man.
I agree with both of you. I actually really like this movie. I wanted to see it when it came out in theaters, but you know that just didn't work out, so I had to wait. And,
same thing.
And just from the very beginning, I loved how, like Sal said, how much information they gave you in such a short amount of time. You know, like and also how the tech is evolved just enough for you to know, oh yeah, this is the future, but like still kind of feel like now. You know, and I thought that the performances were very good. The action sequences were very good. I thought that the story...
That's an understatement.
Like I like that the story. It's a small story. Really, it's
it's
a story about one man.
Exactly.
And I love that. And his
not too many characters.
Not too, and you don't need it. It's just a very simple story. It's very well told. It's you know, it's not too long either. I think the time is perfect.
It's perfect.
And I just think
it's very precise. Everything is so precise.
Exactly. And it kind of needs to be as well, because it's like everything needs to, like, everything is like needle thread.
Right. Yeah, it gets to the point. It's just getting to the point.
Yeah. It's a very well made movie. Like I have nothing to say against it. I really don't. It was and like you guys said, it was actually a blast. And like as you said, like the movie, as it keeps going and as you keep going deeper into this world, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh my god, because like he does such a good job of he keeps escalating the tension. He keeps escalating everything until you get to the end, and then when it all comes together, it's just it just works so beautifully, and I feel like it parallels so much of what's going on right now. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it gives so much great commentary on our lives and our association and relationship with technology.
Right.
And honestly, man, like I just want to see what Lee does next. Like whatever he does next, like I'm there.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
that's true, man. One more thing to add, and basically you both touched on this, especially Sal. It's like the movie's like one big metaphor. There's not like a bunch of stuff in there to kind of like delve into, and so it's like one big metaphor. It's just basically, man versus machine. Like Sal said, like even down to you guys talking about how you see the city is in the future, but then you see a bunch of gritty stuff and whatever, and it just seems like it's trying to tell you that there's still a lot of people in this world that doesn't agree with that side of things. Who
Oh
still
yeah,
wants to
you're
stay
right. Yeah.
grounded and things like that. And it's just like that's like the whole theme. From the beginning, from Gray talking about that and his distaste for certain things, and his wife kind of trying to get him into the type of stuff, and you don't really want to. He still kind of stays grounded. Then you look at certain streets, bar areas, whatever. It's like you could tell that those people aren't with that neither. You know what I mean? They might
Yeah,
have
there's
some
like
stuff in their house, and
there's like an
but they're like.
ongoing struggle between
Yeah,
the new
exactly.
and the
So,
old. Like they're
yes,
both pulling at each other.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's the whole theme, and it goes on, and then the ending just completely blows you away.
Yeah.
And it at the same time it could scare the living daylights out of you too. So
Okay. All right, so let's move on. From this moment forth, we're going to include spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it and then come back and listen to the rest of the pod. If you have listened, all right, let's get into it. Let's start by talking about some of the performances. Let's see. Sal, get us started. Which was your favorite performance in the movie? I mean,
Ooh, do you guys want to save Logan for last?
yeah, let's see.
uh,
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think.
guess so.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Okay.
whatever.
like
It
we
don't
can
matter.
just touch on everybody else real quick because it's really his movie. Like this
Yeah,
is
that's
all
true.
him.
Yeah,
That's true.
he is the movie.
He's the movie. Like there's so many scenes of him just talking to himself. So
Yeah.
like so let's hit a couple of other
Sick.
people before we get to him.
I actually, because she's not in the movie a lot, but Melanie Vallejo, Vallejo, who is Asha Trace, she's not in the movie a lot, but her chemistry with Logan Marshall Green, I don't know, it's really tangible. It's like you can really feel it, and it's just I always think that that's crazy, like how these actors can make you feel so much in such a short amount of time. Because like when they're out in the driveway together in that opening scene, I'm with it. They're in love. I buy it.
Right.
And yeah,
So,
I thought she did a great job.
yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I'll also add like we were just talking about the struggle between the old and the new,
Mhm.
and I think it's very well represented in their relationship. Like
Yeah, correct.
he's old
Correct.
school and she's
Yep.
new school,
She's not.
and
Yep.
still they're trying to find a way to make it work. Like their relationship, you can tell that they're still trying to make it work regardless of how they both feel towards this technology. So like
Correct.
I kind of got from that it's like they're saying that like we can mesh both of these things
Right.
without losing who we are.
That's
Yeah.
that's great. That's actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
So
So, worse, what about you? Who stood out for you besides LMG?
yeah, man, you know what? She was great. I'm gonna go with Iran though.
Yeah.
He's kind of like this. I mean, we know he's a super genius or whatever, but he's kind of
Played
like
by
this
Harry
weird.
Gilbertson.
Right. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of like this weird kid. You know what I mean? I think he says something like this in a movie where he's like, "Man, I don't go out much." Things like you could just tell this dude is just like home all day, and all he does is just work, which is why he's able to come up with the stuff that he's been able to come up with. And he kind of reminds me of Oscar Isaac's character in Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I was thinking that.
yeah, I kind of got that vibe. Like this, just like this really brilliant weirdo. With all this technology, all this type of stuff, man. And I thought that was very interesting, man. And that character played it real well. I know he was very young, and usually you don't see. I mean, what that also represents the world of today, right? It's like a lot of these tech guys are like becoming younger. They're not like 50 something anymore. These guys 30 in their 30s or whatever. So I think that was pretty cool, man. And every time he was on the screen, I really, really bought it. Like I really, really bought that he was like this genius, and You kind of think like, man, he has to have something to do with this, and whatever. So as it goes along, or he's probably responsible or whatever. So it's pretty cool, man. I definitely bought his character, man. I think he was pretty dope.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I just like you, I thought that he was part of it. Like when he kept trying to warn him and he kept trying to shut down the machine, but he was trying to help him.
Right.
So I really like that twist. I have two actually characters besides Logan. Fisk, who is like the
he was great too.
I was about to call him the main antagonist, but he's not really.
He's like the pro-villain. He's the fake out.
He's the fake out, but he's so good. He's so menacing. He doesn't like, and what I love is like nothing is over the top. Everything is like is very subtle. He's very subtle, and it's because he feels like he's above everything else. He's above humanity. He's above emotion. He's upgraded, So
he definitely was.
So every time he's in a scene, you can see that what's the word I'm looking for? That disdain is palatable. Like you feel it. Like in the scene in the bar before he kills the bartender.
The way that he does it, though. And listen, let me tell you, when I first seen him, I was like, man, please, you better get out of here. Like, because, you see his look, like, he doesn't give you this look as this guy, like, he can do something to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But as it goes along, you realize, like, whoa, he is nothing to play with. And that guy is just a good actor.
Yeah. And you can see he's having, like, a great time.
He is. He's this dude is another nuts guy or whatever who got upgraded pretty well, if I may add, because Jesus Christ, the stuff that he had, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and I also enjoyed Betty Gabriel, who played Detective Cortez, who was the police officer that was on the case trying to find out
that's
who killed.
That's Homegirl, though, right? No, right? From what's that movie? From Get Out. Yep.
Oh yeah, it was her. You're right.
Her.
I kept wondering where I saw her from.
Yep,
yeah,
she's from Get Out.
I thought she was really solid here. I felt like she grounded the movie, and I think she was necessary to kind of like add something to the film, because if she's not in it and the police, like, it could feel kind of small, but just her being in there trying to like figure out how things were going. And I think that she had a couple of really good scenes with Logan. And just her investigation into what was going on, it showed you like she's not just anybody. She's smart. She's good at her job. She's determined, and like the fact that I she chased him down, like she didn't have to do that, but she still did. I really enjoyed her character as well.
She played it well too. I mean, listen, I don't have anything bad to say about any of these characters, nothing but great things. Even the ones that were barely in there.
Because you see them just enough. You see them just enough.
Gray's mom.
Abby Cradden, Kara.
Okay, all right, I see it now. Yeah. Okay, Kara. Yep, man. And let me tell you, she's another one barely in that film, but just the moments that she spends with her son. From the in the beginning when she's grooming him and he just starts crying.
Yeah, but it's like what Sal said. It's like when you have good actors, like they sell this stuff, so you don't need a lot of time with them to get that emotional.
It was so perfect because it was shot well. The actors just did an amazing job. It seems like they gave it their all in every scene, as if it was their last. And then another scene with her, man, just like at the end, this scene is just like blew me away. I couldn't believe it. After like this mind blowing scene that he gets through, he comes home. And then his mom is like standing there, and she sees him like standing for the first time with like blood and all. She's like, "What the hell is going on?" I was like, "Oh my god," it was an amazing scene, man. She was great in that. Man. I mean, they all were great, And I guess we could get to Gray in a minute. I'll let Sal go.
No, man, go ahead. Let's just go into.
Yeah, so basically, man, Gray, man. I don't even know if I have the words to speak on this guy, man. I've said a couple things on Twitter. This guy deserves everything right now. Logan Marshall Green, man. He's really, really great in this movie, man. His character, man, especially once he gets that chip, I couldn't believe how well he plays it. He's like this robotic figure, you know what I'm saying? Obviously sharing his body with this chip called STEM, and at times he has to give him permission in order to use it. And everything just kind of changes, man. His body becomes very robotic, and you know, it just changes him physically and mentally. You know, taking his mind and his body, you know, to levels of a human capability far beyond, you know, that he probably could have imagined. You know, so it was pretty great, man. Just the way the way you know, he starts fighting and the way he handles it, the way he actually looks like a robot. Let me tell you something. I haven't seen a character look that great, like doing like this robotic thing, since like it reminded me of like Arnold, like in T2, like in T1,
Yeah.
like he was just like that great. I mean, we've seen some good stuff or whatever, you know, but usually they have CGI and stuff on them, like, but like to just really be like in human form and be able to move like that and to do the action scenes the way that he did. It was crazy, you know, and he really, and see, it's even bugged out because in other robots, like they're robots, they're really robots. This guy had to pretend to be one, kind of like I'm sharing it with somebody. So he had to keep a straight face and act like himself, and then his body to move. Like, I was like, what is this? Like,
that's the craziest part. It's
fucking crazy.
How his expression didn't change.
God, dude.
Actually, that's the thing. Like, I think in the first fight scene.
Yeah, when he's freaking out.
That's when
and he's freaks out. So his face is like, oh my god, and his body
his face is going crazy. He's telling the dude to stop,
but
and
his
arm is
body,
like pat,
and it's like,
I was like, oh.
Yeah, when he's like, Stem, he's got a knife, and Stem's like, we have one too, and he just stabs that. He like bends that guy's arm.
He stabbed him once, twisted his arm, stabbed him. I was like, yo, what
and
the
then
fuck
when he
is
like
going
grabbed
on
the
here?
dude, like when he put the knife against the dude's jaw,
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's one of the big moments.
I mean, seriously, man, just one of the craziest performances in a sci-fi film, man. Where it's just like, we talking about like adrenaline nonstop, like just thrill moment. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like crazy, like, man.
What we got to give him credit for is like those moments of action. He pulls them off beautifully. But then those like smaller moments when it's just him, he kills those too. Like you were just talking about when he's in the wheelchair and his mom is caring for him. Like, you feel that. Or when he's like trying to get the medicine and the machine is not working and he's freaking out and you feel that. And like it's just like all of that stuff, like I said before, it continues to build up the tension.
Yeah.
Right. No, he actually, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if we're talking about the same part. He actually tried to commit suicide.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on.
No, he was trying to OD.
He was trying to OD because he kept because he took the medication and he gave it to him, and then it kind of like popped in his head like, wait, let me take another one, and then that's when he really came to terms like, I just wanted to be over already, and it kept telling him, because what it was, he lied to the machine, like the machine stopped, like, no, I can't give you that, or it could be fatal. He's like, no, I didn't get it, it's not working, which
he kept telling him malfunction,
just so exactly, just so it could keep going, because he was trying to end it, which is why like in the next scene, when Aaron sees him for the first time since he's been a paraplegic, he tells him like, dude, I'm not trying to fix myself. I'm trying to, basically end it or whatever. Like,
okay,
I'm trying to disconnect.
You're right, my fault. I was thinking it could have been either one or the other way. Like I wasn't sure because
I mean, it's all good. It happens. I mean, listen, but they played it so well. Like,
I just thought that the fact that the machine, didn't work. I thought that that was
because
also,
he kept. Yeah, and then he said that.
Was,
he said that's why.
No, I was saying like I thought that the fact that the machine was malfunctioning, I thought that was also going to anger him more towards the machines.
Okay.
Like here he was like
because he was saying it wasn't malfunctioning. I know, so that's why.
Yeah, so I guess I must have missed that. Like I just Sal, what did you think about Logan's performance?
Oh man, well, because he's not a big star, and he's been here and there in a couple of things like Prometheus and Spider-Man: Homecoming. But I think from what I've seen from him, I mean, it's what he's most known for. From what I've seen, this is his best acting performance, and as like you guys are saying, as a physical performance, it's incredible too. To be so stiff yet precise and fluid at the same time, it's pretty incredible. This is one of the best science fiction performances I've seen in years.
Ever, yep.
He's phenomenal in this movie. He's a real star in this movie. Like you really see the star in him in this movie.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to our favorite scenes and moments. Sal, what
Ooh, man. Favorite scenes in
Damn,
movie.
you crushing us with this one.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Well, actually, and this is going to be kind of similar to that conversation we had about Mission Impossible Fallout. Is that I really enjoyed. Remember when he becomes a quadriplegic again, and he has to go to that hacker.
The hacker, yeah.
Yeah, and remember he's like laying there, and Fisk and the guy are coming in, and like
Right.
it's just like the score in that
Yo.
scene, that build up to that
Yo.
action scene. And that action scene is incredible. Like
The
when
way he
Fisk,
gets up, that's fucking nuts.
Yo, the chase,
yeah.
the chase
Dude,
through the
he gets
through the,
up, does a few flips, and then they do that camera
Yeah.
movement that the cameras also turn. Oh my
Yo,
god!
Yeah, when the camera is like
movement
rigged to
in
his
this
movement.
joint is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's great.
And you know
like,
what's crazy? That's a Juan move. He took it and made it his own. Like, we're gonna use that all over this movie, and it fit.
Yo,
Because
it
Juan
did, like,
does that. Juan likes
like-
to twist the camera.
Yeah, like
that.
sometimes when he's in like when the machine is controlling him,
Uh-huh.
and then the camera
Uh-huh.
starts moving like in this like
Dude.
weird herky jerky kind of way.
Uh-huh.
Like it just
Uh-huh.
like it makes you feel like all of this is like so unnatural.
Yep.
You know,
And
like
he
it
spins
just
the camera.
Like, I
Oh
love
yeah,
it,
it's
yeah.
almost like it's rigged to his body.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like behind him and it's like kuka, you know, going along. Like I just love how he used it. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I really like the score and how it builds up that tension and that Jed Palmer does a really good job with the score in general. But yeah, just how it builds up to that when he jumps up and does a couple flips, like you said, and just like that, yeah, that whole chase with this guy has a gun like in his hand, and how Fisk shoots those people through the wall, the vessel employees.
Yeah.
Coming up the elevator, and then like eventually like Stem is like, there's nowhere else to run, I'll take care of this quickly, and then like just does a couple moves and shoots that guy in the face with his own handgun.
That was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
Man.
great. Yeah,
And that's a great just practical effect, very 1980s head exploding kind of stuff.
Right. Yep.
Worse. What about
Still.
you? What's your?
Man, I love all the scenes, man, but I'm gonna have to go with just the first action scene because it just continues to blow me away. As I explained earlier, the movie goes from, it's building up, it's probably at like 50% at that time, and it just goes to 1,000. It don't even hit 60, 70, 100. It goes to 1,000 in that one scene when you start seeing him, or at least Stem taking over and start doing the moves and the camera moving and all this other stuff, and what he does to that guy. And just his acting performance, as we spoke about a minute ago, it's just incredible, man. Every time I see it, I get the same feeling, So I'm gonna go with that scene. I'm gonna go with a scene that I spoke about a few seconds ago, also with the mom when he comes back from this crazy scene, which I'm not mistaken, it's actually the scene that Sal was just talking about, where he was just being chased by those two guys and he actually kills one of them. He comes home after a crazy day. He had that fight at the bar and all that in that scene, and then he comes home and his mom is standing there, and he's supposed to be this paraplegic, and his mom comes over and he shows up standing, looking well, and blood all over him like he just came from a crime scene. And just the expression on their faces, man, the fact that he has to explain to his mom what's going on, it was just such an amazing scene, man. And then I'm gonna go with the scene when he finally goes hand to hand with Fisk, which is one of the main villains, and he's actually what it seems to be one of the first guys that were upgraded, or at least he was upgraded the most, because this guy had guns, this guy had I don't know, some type of special vision that let him see through stuff.
The spit.
Yeah, it was a sneeze. He had like this thing where he sneezes and a bunch of nanomites, whatever nanobots come out and then swiftly goes into someone else's mouth or nose, and you don't even know it. He can kill you. I mean, he was full of surprises, man. And I'm like, oh man, this is probably gonna be a problem for Gray, man. And it was a very good scene because both of them fought well. Obviously, Gray got the best of him most, but just the way he ended him. And what they talked about, man, was just such an amazing scene. So I'm gonna go with those three.
That was one of mine, honestly. The fight with
Hmm.
him and Fisk, I love that
Right.
fight. I think it's
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say I actually like the car chase between him and Detective Cortez
Oh my
when
God.
he's heading to the lab. I think that scene is so well shot. Like
Hmm.
it's like so awesome when
Hmm.
how Stem takes over the other car because he can't control the police car because they're both mechanical. So he
Right.
has to take another car and slam it into Cortez's car.
Yep.
Like I just loved
And the
how that
driving
whole
was mostly great because remember it was a it was an old school car. It
yeah, it
wasn't
was
like
old school. Yeah, so
yep.
I love that scene. I
So
and also I like the ending when we get the reveal as to who's behind the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
yeah,
felt
crazy.
that, like just the way that everything was set up, and when, like like when the realization hits you,
Uh-huh.
like it just like what I love about it is
this was
you
all
know
legit shocking to me.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
was like,
it's a
and
whoa.
what I love about it is like it's like any great classic novel. It's like the ending is shocking, but it's fitting.
Oh
right,
yeah,
It's like it's been leading to this moment all this time, but it's not until it's there in front of you that you're fully confronted with the reality.
right.
And
absolutely.
and my favorite moment in that scene is when Gray is fighting back against Stem and puts
Mm-hmm.
the gun at his neck, and then the whole thing goes white, and he wakes up in the hospital with his wife, and you're like, what is going on? What is going on? And
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't.
crazy.
I caught myself looking at his neck. I'm like, there's no wound on his neck. What's going on?
Right.
What's going on? And then when you make the realization that, oh
No, it messes
snaps,
with you, man. That
yo,
scene
like
messes with you all the way.
I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh
Well, and
my,
it's crazy because the movie kind of teases that, like in the middle, when he has that dream.
Oh, yep. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
because he's like,
You're
that
right.
wasn't a dream. Like, because Stem is like, oh, you had a
Yeah, because
bad
it
dream,
felt real. Yep.
and he was
You're
like,
right.
dude, that wasn't a dream.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, yeah, it was kind of telling you little by little that STEM was the one that was doing stuff.
Yeah,
Just because like it always goes back to like something from before, and it just I don't know if, like I don't know how to explain it, but it like leads to STEM like kind of like what you're saying with the dream. It's like it's showing you that, and then at the end, it's showing him now. It's showing the same thing, but now it's showing you that no, that's the piece of his mind that he's leaving him there. Now he's taking over Gray's body. You know what I mean? And that just goes to show from that part that you're saying where, yeah, that was kind of a dream, but that right there was kind of when he was taking over him already. That's why he said no, but it felt real. He said, nah, it was just a dream. Like he was downplaying it.
yeah, yeah. I thought that was that moment really that messed
Yeah,
with me for
man.
a little bit, man. Like it was hard to shake.
Yeah, no,
It,
it was. Let me tell you something. When that part came up, the end, I swear to you, because the whole time I'm thinking like, nah, this Iran has something to do with it. This is him. It has to be him.
it, it,
And
it
when
kind of
it,
had to be.
yeah,
Like
and when he
when he
got
fought
there,
with
I said,
Fisk
oh,
and
right.
like
I
Fisk
said,
told him
up. I
that.
knew it. I said they about to ruin this for me. The ending is gonna be mediocre,
Hmm.
and it
hmm
just completely took a turn.
yeah.
Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
because
going
when
on
Fisk
here?
said that,
I went
I
through the
was sent
same thought
to
process.
when he said that I was sent to like I didn't shoot you with a bullet.
Uh huh.
I was trying to
Yep.
I was trying to make you into a
Yeah, it was something
paraplegic.
that cut.
Yeah.
He said
So
it
I
was to
was
cut
like,
him. Cut
yeah.
his. Yep.
So I thought like Aaron must have done that because he needed a guinea pig for STEM,
Right.
Hmm
and
Right.
he thought that he was the
Right.
perfect one.
Right.
So I was like, all right, like okay, so we know where this is gonna head up to, but like they completely flip it around on you,
Yep.
and like
And
yo
even with the
that
dream, you think that's like, oh, he woke up. That was fake.
no,
And then
that
it's
was
like, no, not really. That was them who did that to him. That's what he stuck at. And I was like, what the, yo, why y'all playing with me?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So let's jump into the themes of the movie because there's though the movie is short, like I do feel like it does have some pretty big ideas. Uh,
right.
essentially like we talked about a little bit already about
Uh huh.
this the battle between man and
And yep.
machine.
Yep.
How every like and like even Sal brought up the scene when he goes to see the hacker and there's people that are locked in the VR screen.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
they're locked in
Yeah,
for
Hmm.
hours upon hours
Yeah,
just
that
man.
there.
reminded me
It,
of Inception.
Actually,
Inception,
me
exactly.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yep.
the same thing.
Of those dudes
But
that was dreaming. Yep.
but yeah, like to me, it's kind of the same thing that happened to Gray at the end. Like he
Correct.
was like they were living in their fantasy world as well. Like even though they had more cognitive decision towards it because Gray was forced into it, but it's still the same. It's still the very same principle that we are basically like living inside these machines now, and we're going further and further from reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the hacker said. She's like, or he or she, because she doesn't want to specify.
Right.
Yeah, she does not. She makes it very clear.
But yeah, she says like the fake world is to some it's like it's more enjoyable or it's better kind of thing. That's what she said. But yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of makes you think about how even though we're not as far along in that process, we're kind of already there in some ways. Like how much time do we spend on social media every day? You know, like how much time do we spend in front of our screens trying to get away from reality?
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah,
so
how often are you plugged in?
Yes, exactly. And I think that it is just such a really great job of paralleling that future world to our world. And I guess it feels to me kind of like a warning, like, yo, we better be careful because, you know, we're already, you know, like we already have like 1 foot in that direction.
Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Manu, you nailed it. You touched on everything, brother.
One thing that I found really, really interesting watching this movie was in that first fight scene when Gray lets the machine take over and Stem kills his opponent. What was the morality of that moment?
Yeah, you know what? That's like speaking on man versus machine. Like everything that you just spoke about the theme. I think that's another like kind of like metaphor right there. Like it shows that how aggressive technology is. You know what I'm saying? Like even right now with social media and all this, it's like it's everywhere. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like it consumes you, and you know, it's like it doesn't really allow you. You know, it doesn't really give you a break. You know, even though I mean it doesn't have a gun to your head or anything like that, but it's there, right? And you just kind of always got to keep looking at it and you know these types of like you can't get away from it. So
the way it's designed is to keep you there.
Exactly. You know, and then every time you turn the corner, it's like there's a new one. Like you might, you know, even for some people that probably get tired of the one they have already or whatever, it's like, oh well, here's a new one they just created it, and now you know you're into that one as well. So I think that part also with Stem, because he didn't give a shit. You know, he was very aggressive. You know, the moment Gray kind of gave him permission, it was like it was all over. He was gonna do whatever he wanted, and you know, like I said, I take that as a metaphor for you know technology. You know, in today's world, it's everywhere. You know, it's very aggressive with you know being presented to people.
Yeah. Sal, do you have anything to add?
Well, I thought one of the, other than the man versus machine aspect of the film and like the commentary on where we're going, well, this is kind of part of the commentary on where we're going, the upgraded, the new people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, people, you know, maybe in a few years or something, you know, if your arm doesn't work so well, maybe you can just, you know, go to the hospital real quick and get like a bionic arm or something. I mean, we're
I'll
like
tell you one thing, I'm in there. Nah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like this.
What you gonna do with a bionic arm, worst?
Dude, I'm trying to sneeze on niggas, man, so it could be over.
Right. Right. Hey, somebody starts to get wild with you in the streets, and you
And they'll be like, "Did you just sneeze on me?"
Imagine that shit. A nigga walking around sneezing on people, you motherfuckers just start dying. Like, oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's a pretty interesting concept and how it could be, I guess, militarized or made for violent means, because that would definitely happen.
Because that's always what happens with technology. Like no matter what, like even if it's created to do something good, they're always gonna find a way to use it.
Correct.
Well, most of the times, the pioneering of technology does come from the military.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Or just from creating weapons or stuff like that.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yep. Because they're usually militaries are usually the highest bidders. So, you know, it's all about money, right? It's like, well, who's gonna buy it? So, and those are the ones who spend the billions.
Yeah, I mean, because like, yeah, the pioneering of technology is always associated with them. Because like, I forgot who it was, but the person.
They always get things first too, so of course.
Yeah, no, because the person who invented the telescope,
Right.
to make more money, he sold telescopes to like to the military. I forgot who it was, but he was just like, yeah, you can see your enemies from far away, and he just made money off of that.
So
Like it's always associated with those kind of things.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
you're
right.
That's right.
Um,
I was touching on something earlier before. I think Worse cut me off
My bad.
because it's always worse.
Shit you get for picking on me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was about the first fight scene when he decides to kill the bad guy.
Right.
I wanted to talk about the morality in that moment. Like, Gray doesn't kill him, but he gives the machine permission to do so.
Right.
So in that moment, is it Gray or is it Stem that's put on the spot for killing this man?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, I already said I think it's them, because he's just super aggressive. Like, he just doesn't care at all.
I'm asking because I feel like, we see this a lot with the use of drones, right?
Right.
The fact that whoever's controlling the drone is in like somewhere far away and he's watching this through a screen like it's a video game.
Right.
It kind of makes it easier for him to do what he needs to do.
Right.
But it's still him that's pressing the button.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
in that moment, yeah, you're right. It is Stem that's taking over, but Gray did allow him to do so.
Well, I'll say this though. Now, if you were, a better example would be other scenes after that, because
Okay.
I think that first scene, he's not aware of like what STEM is about. He thinks he has a new friend, and he's helping him do something good, and he doesn't really know what he's about. He doesn't know how aggressive he is. But after that scene, now he knows. So when he goes on and does other things, and obviously now he knows this could be a possibility. This thing inside of him, once he gives him permission, can just turn into a loose cannon again and kill. Now that you can ask the question, because it's like, if you know what he's gonna do or possibly know what he's gonna do, like, why would you keep telling him? But I think at first, like, I'll cut Gray some slack, because he has absolutely no idea what he's getting into or what he's capable of.
All right, Sal, you feel the same?
Yeah, I just, and I feel like that part of the movie is supposed to stir up these kinds of conversations very intentionally.
Right.
But I do think the drone comparison is very appropriate, and yeah, I mean, I agree, it's them. Even though, and it depends on the criteria you set on, like, where does STEM end and Gray begin, and where do you draw the lines, and like, do you? Because it's Gray's hands, but he's not in control. It's the same thing with the guy in the bathroom at the Old Bones bar. It's like, does Gray cut up that guy's face, or is it Stem? And it's like the whole permission thing adds a lot to it.
Yeah, because Stem does ask for permission, and Gray gives it to him every time.
Right. But you know what it is too. I mean, even still, I would still cut him some slack because of what's at stake, and what he's after, which is like trying to find out who killed his wife. And it seems like that's all he lives for at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, even when going back to the scene where his mom finds out that he's not a paraplegic no more, she says, "Oh, great, you can start living your life again." And he kind of gets stressed out, and basically tells her, like, not until he finds out who killed his wife, because that was his life. You know what I mean? Being with her and things like that. So I think that after a while, he probably starts to realize, like, yeah, although he's kind of uncontrollable when I give him permission, but you know what? If Stem's gonna do it, fuck it. You know what I mean? As long as I find out, I get answers. This is all that matters to me now in life. So be it.
Yeah. And it's that classic artificial intelligence commentary, but done in a new way. Because it's like, in our day-to-day lives, we do give technology like permission to do. Like, you ever like download a new app on your phone, and the app is like, do you want to like connect your contacts to this? You want to let your camera be involved?
Wow. You're right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then you see how the autonomy changes in this movie with STEM. Like, when he gets full autonomy, and everything changes for the worse, and that's usually how these things go in these movies. But it's done in a fresh way.
That's
Okay.
true.
But like
Wow.
going off of what you're saying and back to what we were talking about earlier, the parallel between then and now.
Uh-huh.
Like how much control our technology has over us.
Mm-hmm.
Like now we like you just said, you download a new app, you allowed all these permissions, and now all of a sudden all of your thoughts, everything you write, everything that you search for, it's all in this AI cloud thing, which I guess is STEM in a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're right. I agree.
What did you guys think about the dream world that Gray ends up in? Like,
Oh man, I think that's kind of brutal, man.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact, like I told you, I had me gassed because I thought it was gonna be one of those cliche endings, like, oh, it was just a dream. He's back, and to see him back with his wife, which we only see for a short period of time during the beginning, but it was just so important and so meaningful. I would have loved, to kind of see that. As much as I'm like, it was a little generic, but I would have loved to see that, and then to find out, like, no, that's actually a piece of his conscious or his mind or whatever that basically the stem is locking him in. He's locking him into his own mind, kind of like limbo. Which reminds me also of Inception, and now he's taking over his body. So, it's just another one of those crazy scenes, man, where it just kind of plays with your mind. So, but yeah, I think that that's again another metaphor, like another parallel to what's going on now with technology. Like it just there's some people that you just can't live without it. You wake up, you have to get on, you have to share pictures, you have to share your whole life. I mean, everything belongs to social media, or your business is out there. Everything, your whole life is out there, and that's basically social media is running everything, not you. You don't have control of your life. Social media has control, or whatever technology is that you use has control over your life, whether it's your phone, your computer, video games, or whatever. We see people always, so many people are attached to these types of things. And I think that that's another parallel of, like, basically you're stuck,
yeah.
and now the technology has taken over.
Sal, you got something to add?
No, not really. Actually, worst touched on like exactly everything I wanted to touch on.
All right, great. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the cinematography.
Mm.
Sal, what did you
Yeah,
think
Sal.
about the cinematography?
Yeah, no, I think this movie's very well shot. I love a lot of like the scenes that are just like one color. Like there's when they're in Old Bones, it's all gold, or like in the bathroom, it's like this like purple and pink neon. Uh, and what's the other scene? Oh, same like in the first action scene, everything is like all gold in there too. I just like all these very, is all very well lit. The blacks are real black, and obviously cinematography goes into like the camera movements of this movie. And we talked about how the camera is kind of rigged to Logan Marshall Green's body. One of the cool camera movements I actually liked was during the procedure, and they're going around that kind of that structure, and it has like panels on it, and sometimes they're like it'll go through like an X-ray of the whole procedure, and then sometimes it'll just be like a C right through. So I thought that was one of the cool like neat touches of the camera and stuff. But yeah, I think the whole movie is pretty well shot, pretty well lit. No complaints here. It's all gorgeous.
Worse?
Man, this is one of the best. Not only one of the best well shot films, at least of the modern day era, but it's possibly, well, I'm going to say one of the best more low budget type of films, because Nicholas one in Ref, or whatever his name is, he makes low budget films and he shoots them beautifully. And this actually has kind of the aesthetic of a Nicholas film, which is some different shots. We talked about earlier the whole kind of spinning the camera in the action scenes. One of my favorite parts of the movie, speaking of like the camera spinning, is not even in an action scene. It's actually the scene where his wife dies and he's in there crying or whatever, and I guess like the director wanted to show like the setting or whatever, and he spins the camera a couple of times, and on the last spin, he wakes up in the hospital. Like he just does this transition that he's in. It's like the hospital scene now, and I was like, holy shit, like. He was just very, very creative with the camera. I guess, like he said, this is low budget. So I'm going to give you something very creative. Once again, with the color grading, something that's one of my favorite things in films. Amazing. I always say, please, crush the blacks. I need that. Or else your film is going to be looking gray. We all know who does that a lot. And I can't stand that for the love of God. And and usually in films like that, when they crush the blacks, that means that colors are gonna pop out, which they do in this film. The reds, the purples, the greens.
Need that contrast.
Yeah, and we know that that was done purposely, but it was done great. And you know what? Some people, they might, some colors may have meaning. Like Dennis Villeneuve, whatever the hell his name is. Sorry, Sal. He likes to use a lot of yellow, and it means something in his film. So in this one, it kind of gives you that. He uses like these neon colors, kind of, and it's it gives it like this techno. It just makes it feel like just like a new world type of feel. You know what I mean? Like they're in the future. So, and I think that's pretty dope, man. Obviously nothing beats out the action scenes, just the way he shot them with the spinning camera, the way he runs, the way he kind of makes the camera move. I don't even know how to explain it. What he does.
Yeah, there's like kind of that depth, like the depth of field, kind of like with it. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like the background comes in. It's like it actually zooms out and he comes in. Like it's crazy. So I mean, he got very creative, man. This film is a prime example of what you can do with a low budget if you think outside the box, man. He really made it, man. One of my favorite films, cinematography in films in the new era.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It's he really did a great job. Like I mentioned earlier, the car chase, going to Keen's house. I think that scene is just so well shot. It makes you feel like you're actually inside one of the cars. Sometimes you feel like you're on the fly, like right behind it. I really loved it. Like you said, the moments when the camera is moving close to his body, when he's moving very robotically, kind of like shifts the entire screen and makes you feel like this is a natural because, well, what Gray is going through is unnatural. The action scenes are shot wonderfully, and I like it because, again, like I talked about with Mission Impossible Fallout, you get to see everything. Like, I felt like for so long everybody was trying to do the Bourne quick cuts, and not everybody can do that effectively. But it was just really refreshing to see here how the camera moved in a way that you could see every single blow hitting, that you could see Logan Marshall Gray's face and his body, and how everything kind of looked like it wasn't always in sync, because even though he had control of his head, a stem was controlling his body. So the cinematography is really great in this film, just like you said. So let's talk about the score.
Yeah,
Wars,
sure.
Wars,
Yeah.
go ahead. Tell us what your thoughts are on the score.
All right. Man, what's crazy? It's like, well, first of all, it has a great score, but you don't even hear a lot of it. I guess like the point of this is like to hear it only in certain parts, and I think that's what makes it unique.
Yeah,
because they do like the scenes where there's like nothing in the background, and they still make the scene amazing, and then in the next scene it's like, I don't know, it's a suspenseful scene or whatever, and it gives you like this one big sound, like oh shit, something's about to happen or whatever. But we all know that when the action comes in, it's like it just starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know who did the score against that.
His name is Jed Palmer.
Well, yeah, that dude is pretty good, man. And as we know, this is like a theme of what they were using, where it's like, don't give them too much of something. You know what I mean? And the score was one of those things where it's like, don't overdo it. You don't need to hear it all the time. But when it does pop up, it's just so dynamic, so big. It works so well. And I loved it, man. It definitely fit the theme of the film. It was perfect.
Sal.
Yeah, no, I love the score. I thought it was amazing. I agree that it kind of fades into the background to let other things pop. But I thought that like when the action scenes start coming in, it goes pretty wild, and I like the just like softer moments. Like it feels very kind of eerie, and it creates like an unease, and it's supposed to, bring up all those like uneasy feelings about the future and where these things are going. So I like that kind of touch to it as well.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Like we mentioned earlier, everything in this movie from beginning to end, it all helps to build the tension, to build this sense of the inevitable. And the music constantly helps in doing that. Like you said, when it's like these small quiet sounds, these small quiet scenes, it's there, but it's in the background, and it eerily makes me think of how STEM works. Like STEM is
Wow, that's
always
good.
there.
I
Like
didn't think
STEM
Yeah.
about
is
that.
like STEM is always there, but it's like it's sometimes it shifts into the background just to give Gray like a sense of control. But then when like Worst said, when shit gets crazy, like when STEM takes over, then the music just grows with it. Like, so I thought that was a very interesting way of using the score and using the music to kind of like also be part of the story that the film is telling.
I agree. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great one.
All
Hmm.
right, well, yeah, I guess we've covered everything. Why don't we just quickly give our closing thoughts on Upgrade? Worst, kick us off.
Man, man, I don't even know what to say, man. The film was just amazing, and I recommend it to everyone, man. It was one of those films that I'm a be honest. When it was first announced and the trailers was out, I didn't even fully even see the first trailer, and I didn't give a damn about it, But quickly the hype rose once some people started seeing it early, and then once it came out, everyone was going nuts. Um,
Bugging.
yeah, everyone was going crazy. And then I actually saw I don't know if it was the first or second trailer, like the whole thing, and I was like, okay, I got to check this out. Obviously we talked about the movie didn't make a lot of money or whatever the case. Maybe I didn't get a chance to see it because it wasn't even playing in the theater around my way. So, it was one of those things. I caught it once it came out, and I'm so glad, man. It's actually one of the best purchases. It's actually one of the best purchases that you know, I've kind of done in the past year. So finally, something great, and it's a movie that's in my top 5 of this year, man. Leigh Whannel, he definitely deserves more work. I hope he does, and Logan Marshall Green. I said the other day that you know what, he should have actually been Venom. Although I love Tom Hardy and he's great, but he's the man. Like he don't really, if he didn't get Venom, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But this guy deserves more work, man. He's really really good, and I hope that this gets him somewhere. Even though the movie didn't do so great, and like I said about Lee, man, he deserves. I hope he can get something like Cyborg or something like that. I could definitely see him doing that film, man. So they did an amazing job. Everyone did an amazing job. I have absolutely nothing bad to say, or even that anything is mediocre about this film. I mean, it's great, man. Once again, it's in my top 5. If I'm not mistaken, I probably got it number 2 behind Mission Impossible Fallout, and might even move it to number 1. Another day or so.
Wow, that's what's up.
Hmm.
Sal, what about you? Closing thoughts?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're this far, you've already seen it. But yeah, I was gonna recommend it. But yeah, no, I've been on board with this movie since day one, since I saw the trailer. I wish I saw it in theaters, but I didn't really get the
Hmm.
chance. Um, but yeah, this is an incredible film. I really loved it. I've just been really high on this movie all week. It's just been incredible seeing a movie that I love. And yeah, I hope to see more from everybody involved in this film, especially Logan and Lee. They deserve a lot more work and a lot more to spotlight. I don't need 5 upgrade movies. This one is great.
Yeah, I
You
don't even
know,
need another one, man. That's
I
true.
love where it ends. That's good enough for me, and I hope these
Good.
guys get partnered up again on something else and keep doing that work. And I can't wait for whatever Blumhouse has next, because for me personally, they keep knocking it out of the park every year. They got Halloween coming up next, so
they got a bunch of stuff, man, and I love it. I love everything.
yeah.
So
And I like that they're venturing out, because this is under a different banner. This is called Blumhouse Tilt. Right. And this is just kind of like a different, they want to do like a little more blockbuster, in quotes, kind of stuff.
Correct.
So, yeah, I think this is a good first venture for that.
Man, they could make a Little House on the Prairie film for all I care at this point. I'll go watch it, because they know what they're doing up there, man.
Yeah. I agree with the both of you. I thought the movie was very good. I enjoyed the performances. The action scenes were remarkable. Leigh Whannel is definitely someone to keep our eye on going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems smart. He seems like he knows what he's doing. Logan Marshall Green, like, I wish him all the luck after this performance. Like, and like, he really put himself out there. Like, he really did. And I can only imagine how difficult this film was to shoot. You know, like, we know that the budget wasn't too big, so I'm sure that, you know, like, they must have gone above and beyond to get this.
Yeah, they definitely did,
good
man.
as it does. So, like,
you
know, like, just give them all the props. Just, you know, if you're still listening, like, you know, like, watch the movie again, buy it, like, share it with your friends and your family, because it really deserves that. Like, because these people put in work, and you got to show them love for it.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I agree.
All right. With that said, we're gonna leave you guys because we've been here for an hour. So, Sal, why don't you drop your @
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Salazar2049, SALAZAR.
All right. Worst, before I ask you to do so, I know you don't want nobody following you.
Yeah, as usual. Don't follow me. Matter of fact, if you're following me, block me. Just leave. Nah, let me stop. But
if you had any issues with the podcast, go to ALFZ on Twitter.
No. We decided it was gonna be DC Down Under for all of his Christopher Nolan slander.
Exactly. So I'm still not off that boat. Remember, not Mike Velcro, the other Mike, DC Down Under. Feel free to send all hate mail or hate tweets. Matter of fact, I got his Facebook too. I'll give it to y'all in a minute. But no. But anyway, yeah, man, y'all can follow me at Worst Hero Ever 07, and you know, for boring content if you want.
And you can find me at Man United 0710. You can also reach The Film Exiles at The Film Exiles on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on Pinterest. We are on Facebook. So please follow, comment, talk to us. You can also reach us at our Gmail account at thefilmexiles@gmail.com. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Worst. Thank you, Sal, for coming on.
My man.
Yeah.
You already know. Oh yeah, one more thing. And follow my my Vero if you're on there.
Oh yeah. We always forget about Vero. Yeah.
Is at boy BOY together.
All right. Sal, what about you? Gonna drop your Vero real quick, or you good?
Yeah, I got my whole last full name. Alejandro.
You try to get that check mark, huh?
that.
You try to get that check mark, huh?
I'm gonna hit up. I'm in Hariri right now.
Yep. And please don't act crazy on there. Don't wild out, because I'm trying to be my better self. You know, the better version of myself on there.
Yeah.
Got some stuff going on in there, man.
We see so little of that.
Don't
man.
tempt me.
We see so little of that. Also, the Film Exiles also has a Vero page, so please follow us over there as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys.